South Korean President Moon Jae-in is talking peace with North Korea's Kim Jong Un. Will the 65-year state of war finally end between the two countries? Donald Trump's historic meeting with Un is set to take place in late May or June. Might his efforts lead to denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula and maybe a Nobel Peace Prize?
We've been very, very tough at the border. Sanctions have been the toughest we've ever imposed on any country. And we think it'll be a great thing for North Korea, and it'll be a great thing for the world. So we'll see where that all goes. Maybe it'll be wonderful, and maybe it won't. And if it's not going to be fair and reasonable and good, I will, unlike past administrations, I will leave the table.
Well, joining us is American University Paris professor Paul Gardner. He's author of the book World War Trump. Now, that planned one-on-one meeting between Trump and Kim Jong Un could be a huge success. What does that meeting, something that no other president has arranged, by the way, say about Trump's strategy?
Well, I actually think that's a brilliant move on Trump's part. I actually said that in the book. He could probably go on and meet with Kim. The problem is it has to be planned ahead of time. Normally, when the president goes, it's after a deal's made with the State Department's met with the opposing side, and they've worked out the strategy and the format of the peace negotiations that are to take place. Trump is going there on the assumption that this denuclearization means the same thing. It's not at all clear that denuclearization means the same thing for Kim as it means for Trump. For Kim, it means getting nukes out of Korean peninsula, meaning South Korea. For Trump, it means getting North Korea to give up its nukes. If we can't think through the long-term strategy, and furthermore, it's going to require, it's not, John Bolton, the national security, Trump's new national security advisor, thinks we can do a Libyan model there, where Libya will just like Libya backed off, gave up its weapons of mass destruction program, and the United States moved forward towards recognition. That's not going to work for North Korea because they saw Gaddafi fall. So they're going to want guarantees that Kim can be stabilized, that the government will remain, that South Korea will get investments. You know, what's needed is a whole package. You can't just go in there and claim a one-on diplomacy, Trump to Kim, without a larger package envisioning investment, security guarantees, and the whole works in order to guarantee peace in the long term. Because what Bolton's proposing is not a long-term peace proposal.
You know, I've been covering international politics and wars, diplomacy I'm in my fourth decade now, and I've seen this time and again, it's like it's all about the deal, working the deal, reaching an agreement without thinking about long-term consequences. Is that what we're seeing here? Because it seems like Donald Trump with North Korea, he wants to be the deal maker rather than leaving it to the diplomats. As you said, he's going to meet with Un by himself rather than relying on the diplomats.
That's right, and I think that's the problem. He's going to have tremendous support and foresight in how to make this into a long-term prospect and not just a one-off meeting where they either agree or not agree. It doesn't work like that. It takes time, and he doesn't seem to have the patience to deal with these kind of negotiations. And he doesn't seem to have the sense of the detail that you need to manage all the compromises and concerns that are raised here. You know, I really do think it's possible to resolve the Korean crisis, and the South Koreans really took the lead here. It wasn't Trump. It was South Korea that really initiated the discussions with the North, and then the Olympics helped create a feeling of friendship there, and we have to continue to work on that as we go forward. And Trump could either make it or break it. Now, if he makes it, I agree he should get the Nobel Peace Prize. But if he doesn't, and I'm afraid he's not prepared correctly, then I'm afraid we're going to be back even to a worse position than we were before the peace talk started.
Maybe he could get that Nobel because, after all, they gave it to Barack Obama after only 9 or 10 months in office. He hadn't really done anything.
That was absurd. That was absurd. I don't understand why they did that.
Well, we'll see what happens there. So you really think that war can be averted on the Korean Peninsula?
I can if it's really a long-term venture. But the way John Bolton, the national security advisor, is talking, that's not what he's envisioning. So if we're not envisioning a long-term peace settlement and reconciliation over the long term between North and South Korea and the United States and North Korea and Japan, and getting China in there, that it's a whole package, a concerted effort that's needed. I don't see Trump doing that, and therefore I don't think these talks will be very successful.
Okay, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. I hope we're not into deja vu. The same thing, we're on again, off again, talking, lifting of sanctions, stopping the testing, then testing resumes, sanctions resume. It seems like for the last 30 years.
That's happening. The North Koreans are getting the better and better missiles and longer range. So and better, bigger and bigger bombs. So it's really important to think of this in the long term and to see the ramifications for the entire region. Because a war in the Korean Peninsula, I guarantee, will not remain limited.